Impressive. Most impressive.
Most impressive indeed. What's up, guys? I'm Ivan Vargas. Welcome back to another Bears show here on the Tape Never Lies Network. Tyson Bagent was impressive for sure. Going into coming off of the win on Sunday against the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. That IV therapy got me though. That was funny, and you threw me off. But thank you. But anyway, huge day for Tyson Bagent. Can't help but be happy for the kid. I got to eat some crow here because I had my doubts, being scorned with all the quarterbacks that have come through the halls of Hallis, and I just coming off of that loss to Minnesota, it was just very upsetting, and then seeing him not be able to hold on to the ball was very upsetting. But I'm going to go ahead and eat my crow today because Tyson Bagent was on fire. And you can't help but root for the kid after hearing him speak, after seeing him in the locker room, seeing how he performed out there on the football field. It's just a story to continue to watch, and you can't help but be happy for him. But before we go ahead and get deeper into that, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Tape Never Lies Network. Go to www.thetapeneverlies.com and become a patron. We'll get more tape breakdowns from DDP, more pop-up shows, more special, things here and there. We raffle off tickets and stuff like that whenever somebody happens to have them. But special things for the patrons. So make sure you go ahead and become a patron today. But let me go ahead and bring in my guy. He hasn't been with me for a minute. He's taken some time off. He was sick last week. He's been coaching, super dad, being everywhere and anywhere and everywhere. Excuse me. But let's go ahead and bring in Chris Jackal.
Dude, that's a great intro. How we doing, sir? IV therapy.
I know that got, when I saw it, I read it real quick and I was just like, oh, that is funny. But yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, it was good. How are you?
Great to be here, man. I missed you. I apologize for last weekend. Definitely was not feeling well. We had 2 weeks of hell in my house. Everybody.
Did you have the shits?
And not even that. Everything else, but to be honest with you, I probably traded for that. It was a rough go, but here we are. ABS, another Bears show after a Bears win. It's there's some things to talk about tonight, man. I'm happy to be here with you.
How did you feel about Tyson?
All right, so I'm happy that he did well. I want to see him perform. I saw a watered down offense. Luke Getsy was clearly not trying to put him in a position to fail. Very kid glove, in my opinion. But what I liked out of Bagent was getting the ball out of his hands. He wasn't afraid to take some risk. But I much rather, I think if Justin Fields is ready to go and he's healthy, I'd much rather go with JF1 as my starting quarterback. But that's me. But I look as Bagent as a serviceable backup, showing that that's something he's totally capable of doing. And while Fields is out, you would hope your backup quarterback can actually show out, because if you look across the league, there's been backup quarterbacks that have just been absolutely atrocious. And it'd be nice to say we actually have, a very good backup quarterback in Tyson Bagent.
And you know what?
That's
I
my
talked
take.
about it. Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're entitled to opinion. I think it's a solid one because I feel like Tyson Bagent, I mentioned it last week, Tyson Bagent should take his career, to this point, the Bears and himself should take his career one step at a time, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like the fans see it and they're excited, and I get it. And it was exciting to see, he was just getting the ball out, getting it to open receivers. Not big numbers, but he did his job, right? And he was a game manager. And that's all you could ask for from your backup quarterback. And that's why I mentioned last week, I felt like he's going to be a very solid backup quarterback. Whether he becomes a starter or not, that's going to be totally up to him. Yeah. But as of right now, what I see is a guy that knows the offense, a guy that can get the ball to, get the ball out quickly, get the ball out to the open guy, and won't hurt you as much. I know we got to see a little bit more. He had a couple turnovers in that first game, but right now, seeing him against, Las Vegas, holding out and not turning over the ball, getting the ball out, being accurate, being consistent, getting the crowd fired up, showing
preparation.
some energy, showing some energy, showing some dog like they've been talking about all week. That he has that dog in him. So I really like what he showed out there on Sunday. And I mentioned before, Jack, like you heard me, like I was like, I don't know what he could do. I don't really. I wanted him on the team coming out of preseason. Then seeing, like I said, the frustration, seeing him perform that one game, it gets to you at a certain point. But if he can just be that and take his career one step at a time, I think Tyson Bagent can have a long, successful career in the NFL. He just looks like he belongs.
Yeah. He's got the moxie, got the makeup, clearly had an opportunity in college to go big time Division I when he was at that point, with the whole COVID situation, and he performed, decided to stay at Shepherd and just kind of, do his thing. I think that's great, but at the same time, he was an undrafted, he was in the way it all played out. We're not the pros here. We're not the guys that get paid to make those decisions. There's a reason that he was left off many people's boards, but that happens in the NFL. And you want somebody to take a chance on a guy, especially the team you root for, and hope that they hit. That's awesome that Bagent looks like a guy that could be exactly that. But
no doubt.
I'd love to see Justin Fields get back out on the field, earn some money, and show exactly, hey, before he got hurt and, whatever abysmal game that he had going before he got injured, the two games before that, he was amazing, and this wasn't even a topic of conversation, And Bagent played against the Raiders, who by no stretch of the imagination, they're dog shit, and their team is not very good. So Bagent did exactly what he needed to do in an opportunity where he needed to perform, and I'm very happy as a Bears fan, But I agree with you. Step by step is how this should go for him. We can't have visions of grandeur. We need to really kind of
there's been a
walk, right?
Yeah, there's been a lot of, and I won't say there's been a direct, direct connection, like people are trying to directly connect him with Tom Brady or anything, but like there's just his name just keeps getting thrown around, and Brock Purdy getting thrown around, and I'm like, let's just pump the brakes and see what
Purdy
he can
two
do
interceptions last night in primetime, fourth quarter,
But I'm just let's pump the brakes. Let's see what he can do next week, right? He's going to have another opportunity because of Justin Fields being out next week. The thing is, right, they've mentioned already, Justin's a starter, right? Justin's a starter when he's healthy, and it has to be that way. I know all the Tyson Bagent lovers will hate me, but it has to be that way because you have invested so much in him. You need to find out if, with all the talent and all the skill, if he can be the guy for you. Because if he can, then he makes those 2 first-round draft picks next year 10 times more valuable.
Oh, yeah.
Because now you could go ahead. Now you say you have a guy, and you could get off of that number one. You could trade for another, multiple first-round picks. You know what I'm saying? You could probably trade down that number 2 even if you have buyers, because you have 2 quarterbacks that are going to be out there, and you have quarterback-thirsty teams in the top 10. I'm talking Green Bay, you know what I mean? I'm talking Arizona. They're number 2 right now. Let's see how it plays out.
They have 2 first-round draft picks too.
Right, but so it's the best case scenario for Justin is he gets healthy and he balls out the rest of the year. But if that doesn't happen, you have a guy in Tyson Bagent that you've been developing. He's had a year underneath, a year on the bench looking at what needs to be done, what needs to be done and what is incorrect, right? So he's able to go ahead and make adjustments on his own, mentally, and then prepare and then go ahead and take that out onto the field. He's already spoken about how he's into the playbook.
Oh, yeah. So, he's a heady guy. Him and Justin are 2 different quarterbacks, in my opinion.
Right.
And
not to say that Justin's not in his playbook, but like the way that he describes it, I'm like, okay, if that's who you are, well, then that's who you're always going to be. Am I right? So in my opinion, if it's Justin, don't fret, Bagent fans. Like, he's going to be on this team next year. And
he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and if his development takes off because he's able to sit back and watch, then thank God. For me, I don't have I have the videos, but I'm not going to go dig back and tell you, hey, I told you so. But I'll tell you this, I never wanted him to start, Justin Fields. I always wanted Justin to just take a seat back, watch Andy Dalton get beat up. You know what I'm saying? Watch him get sacked 7 times against the Browns. And then learn as you go. And even with that, You take away, you have one set of coaches, one offense. You lose that after your first year. You go into a brand new one. You're getting your ass kicked. So it's difficult to go ahead and make progressions and develop. And some of it's your fault, but a lot of it's talent. It was talent. And then you get to here, and it's like, okay, now he's supposed to start progressing. Now he's supposed to be settled. And I get he's he's in his third year, but look at what he's been given. Like his first 2 years, can you really blame him? Yeah. Can you?
The
really
Bears have a
him?
recipe for success with young quarterbacks. I mean, clearly they've shown that they can do that.
Yeah, right.
The Bears have struggled with developing quarterbacks since we've been Bears fans. So it's an issue. But to expect the Bears to have struck gold with Bagent and expect him to do Brock Purdy things with this coaching staff that we've been shitting on for this entire season, I just think it's skewed logic. And James down below in this comment, I definitely agree with you. If Fields played against the Raiders, I'm saying he probably could have thrown maybe for twice as many yards. And hey, I'm not saying Bagent couldn't be a starter in this league either. I believe it Justin Fields more than I do in Bagent based on what I've seen. And that's just an opinion. Again, but everyone has their own opinion, and that's wonderful.
We just need to see more of Bagent.
And Fields did well against crappy teams as well, but he put up monster numbers. He showed out. And so he did more with less or less with more, however you want to slice it. I'm just trying to say that, I think we got to keep things in perspective. And I just need to kind of see more in a bigger scale before we start saying this guy is the future. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, I felt like the heavy run, they ran, what was it, 38 times or something to that effect? It was 30 times with their running backs. I felt that was the key to protect. And not saying that he needed protect, but to insulate a young quarterback. They ran heavy, and you saw how aggressive a Dante Foreman can be. You saw how Darrington Evans can be electric and be a little shifty back. Excuse me, be a little shifty back out there and pick up some big yards when he can. So when you have your starters in, when you have Khalil Herbert back, when you have Roshan back, it should be. I feel like there should be a heavy focus, regardless of who the quarterback is, on utilizing those four backs.
Yes.
And
that's the identity of this team.
Exactly. And stop with the design runs for whether it be Justin Fields or Tyson Bagent. You saw what Tyson Bagent, and I mentioned this about Justin, I want him, if he's going to scramble, let it be because the play broke down. Not because you're telling him, hey, we're going to run quarterback power left, quarterback power right. This is how you end up hurt. This is how you get your quarterback hurt, right? Yeah. And to be honest with you, you need to see more of a development in the pass. So it should be less of him running and more of the utilizing the running back, because you need him to stay healthy. You need him to stay healthy, and you need him to go ahead and throw the ball downfield. And if he's not on the football field because you've been running him like a dog, well, that's on you. So for me, I just, regardless of who the quarterback is, utilize this. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Dante Foreman was an animal, dude. And I mentioned it the week before.
Look at him last year. He was a beast.
Right, right. And I mentioned in the week before in the loss to Minnesota, he had I think he had a similar amount of carries, right? But Darrington Evans didn't have those carries, right? Darrington Evans had, was it 14 carries? Let me have the stats here. Here you go. 16 carries for 89 yards for Foreman. Evans, 14 carries for 48 yards. 137 yards between those two backs. Get them more touches. 30 carries. And I mentioned it before. 25 to 30 is where you should be targeting for this football team. Yeah. And you get 30 carries, and it's been building. If you look at the first 4 games, right? Green Bay, 63 carries, right? Or 63 yards, excuse me. Only 19 carries between all 3 running backs. Herbert,
Foreman was inactive.
Yep. And then they go inactive. So it's just Herbert and Johnson against Tampa Bay. 11 carries, 67 yards. Against KC, 15 carries, 69 yards. Yeah. Just not enough. You get to Denver, and, Herbert was killing it. He had 18 carries, could have had a little bit more. You should have had a little bit more if you think about it. Maybe you control the clock, some more. Maybe he breaks one off. But Herbert has 18 carries, 103 yards. Johnson 5 for 13. So your first 100-yard day comes, was it week 4? Week 4, you finally get above 20 carries, and you almost win the game. You know what I'm saying? You almost win the game. But it's just not enough. And then you go to Washington. You had a freak day. Like, honestly, it was an awesome performance by DJ Moore. Like, one for my memory, one for the highlight reel, one for the history books. But if the running back stayed healthy, I feel like that running game would have gotten going in that game. You lose 2 of your running backs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sucks. So like I feel like
control. No, you're right.
And God bless Blasingame because he did his job.
Yeah.
But you lose 2 of your running backs, and Herbert was going to have another 100-yard game, in my opinion. He finished with 10 for 76. You know, so if he stays healthy, maybe he goes over the century mark, maybe, even more. And of course, Roschon Johnson, he got hurt with the concussion. He's been out since.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, I'm looking forward to him getting back and getting out there because he looked great while he was on the field. But obviously health is wealth in the NFL. So the healthier your team is, hopefully, the better you look to perform. Right. But I have a question regarding the quarterback situation. Fields is out against the Chargers. Bagent comes out and plays well. Well, they win. Say he beats the Chargers. And now Fields is ready. Do you see Eberflus and the team make a decision and stick with Bagent? They'd have 3 wins on the year. They'd be. What do you think they'll do?
So they have, I believe it's the Chargers, and then
let me get into the
go ahead and
schedule. I'm going to bring it up, but go ahead.
The Chargers and then the Saints, right? 2 winnable games, in my opinion. Now the Chargers, I feel like, pose a bigger threat because they have some weapons on offense, and they got Khalil Mack, they got Joey Bosa, unless Bosa's hurt again. But either way, they could get to the quarterback. They could wreak havoc on the young guy. And you saw what happens when you bring pressure. You know what I'm saying? Minnesota blitz a lot. Even with Tyson Bagent in there, he got blitzed a lot, and you saw what happened. So for me, if they can limit the pressure on Tyson Bagent, continue to hammer the run right at the ends, run right at Khalil Mack. You know what I mean? Get them tired. Don't get them full head of steam. Keep them, on their toes. Keep them limited in what they can do. So for me, it should be a heavy run attack this coming week. But looking at
I'm not trying to look ahead, but everybody wants Bagent to do well. There's not one person that wants to see him fit. I mean, if you're a Bears fan, I don't know why you would want to see him not perform well. He goes out, has a great game. They win. We're going to be rejoicing here. Hallis Hall is going to be super excited. You have Victory Monday, the whole 9. I'm curious to see how this front office handles that situation. They haven't handled many things well with respects to controversy. So I'm curious to see how a quarterback controversy, if there is one, even though they have come out and said that, Fields is the starter. I think, though, a win against the Chargers may change things. And so I'm just curious in your thoughts. I'm also curious in how the end of the season plays out. And, if they get rid of Eberflus and say Bagent is the starter, I'm just crystal balling saying he plays well and they roll with him. Does the next guy that comes in want to go with this young quarterback? There's so many fucking unanswered questions.
It's insane. Just Tyson Bagent needs to
baby steps,
go ahead
right?
And take baby steps. Like I said, baby steps. But if he wins, if he beats the Chargers, right, and they use him correctly,
that's how the weed do.
I think they go ahead and let Justin sit another week. I really do. If he goes out there and get
some extra rest, let's
say he hits 200 yards in his same accuracy, same consistency, I think you give him another week, right? You give him one more week against the Saints. And then if Justin comes back, then let Justin go. And you've seen enough. You've seen a lot out of your undrafted Division II rookie quarterback to know that he can play in the NFL and see how the development goes from there. That's kind of how I see it.
Okay. Good answer. I like the political answer there.
Right. But let's go ahead and jump into these interviews.
Yeah.
We're gonna start from the beginning. Well, not the beginning. We're gonna start from post game on Sunday with Matt Eberflus at the podium.
Good afternoon. Again, I want to thank the fans. They were outstanding today on third down for the defense. The defense felt that out there, and also I know the offense appreciated the fans as well. Being real supportive of our young quarterback and the efforts that they put out there today. So first and foremost, thank those guys. But again, a really good day. The one word that stands out to me is complimentary football, and that's really what it was all about. We wanted to come into the game and run the ball, and we did a really nice job of that, controlling the game that way, and also being able to stop the run. And I thought that was really good by the offensive and defensive line. When you can own the line of scrimmage like that, I think that's always a big positive. And then the other part of that being up front is that protecting the quarterback. That's a huge thing that we have to do. Give him time, and then also on defensive line, affecting the quarterback with our rush or our pressure, whatever that might be. So that was excellent there. And then obviously the ball being +3 today gives you a high percentage to win. And
Appreciate you, Sean.
Capitalize that after we got that on the short field there. With Maine, we ended up scoring a touchdown there, which is great. Obviously, when you score on defense, that's also a good percentage for winning too. But that was good. Great to see Jalen Johnson get a couple picks, multiple picks in his first time. That was cool to see that. Overall, just 14 points off the turnovers, and that was excellent. And complimentary football all around. Talk about Tyson, like we talked about all week.
I'm happy.
That was great.
I'm happy for Jalen Johnson. I'm nervous about what they're trying to. If they do extend him, I'm very nervous about what they're trying to.
I think they're far off. I don't think the Bears want to pay him like a top 5 cornerback. Not that I'm in the room.
It doesn't make sense. Like, look, I get.
Trade him to the Redskins.
Great game. Look, had a great game. I'm not going to knock him for that. But this is what year is he in? 3, 4?
Yeah, he's been injured. I like our young guys we got.
I feel like Jalen Johnson is going to ask for more than what he's worth, and it's just not going to fit. It's just not going to mesh with the Bears. Like, I just don't see it working out. It might work out somewhere else, but you had 2 picks, and now I'm supposed to pay you top dollar. What happened to the other? Can you stay healthy the rest of the year? Like, let's see how the rest of the year plays out before we go ahead and start getting into these contract talks. Because
would you trade him and maybe another pick to the Redskins for for Chase Young?
That was a question last night on CHGO After Dark with
Shane.
Greg
I actually.
and Shane.
Yep.
So like that was a actual trade brought up on that show, and I was watching it too because shout out to Shane, he did an awesome job.
Those two they did very well.
Those two are on fire, but I didn't see a reason why I wouldn't trade Jalen Johnson for Chase Young. Yeah, they both been injured, right? They both had their injury.
Though. I don't know.
They both had their injury, history, but I'm gonna go ahead and take a guy like a Chase Young who could wreck a whole game plan if he's healthy.
Yes. Yep.
Over a guy who hasn't been consistent enough, you know what I'm saying, to for me to think that he's something special. And I think he's going to be I think he could be a consistent cornerback in the league, a decent cornerback.
Oh, absolutely, man. He's great. He's a great cornerback. He's like
mid-range pay. Like, I'm not trying to pay him top dollar. You know what I mean? It's mid-range pay for a guy like a Jalen Johnson. You just haven't done enough.
You got to be on the field, man. You got to be out there, and one game doesn't make him. And I mean, he has, the ratings and all that wonderful things, he's got respect across the league. I just, I don't know. I rather start inside, we've talked about it, the show, TTNL, we pounded that drum about the trenches and building within. And, we have some great young guys in our secondary, Terrell Smith and Stevenson. I mean, we got dudes that are showing that they can perform. And I don't think you have to pay $20 million a year to do that, or whatever it's going to cost for Jalen Johnson. I don't know what the top 5 cornerbacks are going for right now, but I know Jalen, you're going to have to pay you're definitely gonna have to pay Chase Young, but I'd much rather pay a defensive lineman with our young guys that we have on rookie deals in the back, because that's a young group too.
I trust Chase Young more than I would trust Jalen. I just don't, like I said, it's about the position and about what the talent can do. And I just feel like Chase Young over Jalen. If they even want to do that, I feel like that would be amazing for the Bears if they did that.
Yeah, because the Jalen was what was he a second round pick or was he a third round pick?
Second.
He was a second, so we'd be getting
there was pocket presence,
some draft stock.
Interesting. Deliver the ball down the field, which I thought he did a really nice job of distributing the ball to the skill, and that was really good to see. Multiple receivers and all those things, but that was good. And then Deontay Foreman did a nice job of running the ball. Evans did a nice job running the ball. Those guys did a really good job. And our hats off to Chris Morgan. Chris Morgan did a really good job of setting up those runs, during the course of the week, and did a really good job in terms of, the protection. When you're dealing with a rusher like that, I think we did a solid job of that. Disrupting his timing and his pass rush. All-pro player, and you certainly got to be able to take care of that guy. And I thought we did a solid job of that during the course of the day. But with that, I'll open up to questions.
Decision to put Nathan Peterman in for that last second Hail Mary. What one is that?
Yeah, I mean, Nate's got a big arm, a real big arm, and that was really outside of our normal time to do that. In terms of
that's yet to be seen. Like
so we just put him back there.
I don't know about all that.
How did he do with just the overall operation, keeping things organized, keeping everybody where they should be? His first start ever.
Yeah.
Before we get that, but with that, like, do they see something in Tyson that we, haven't seen? I mean, I know he had that pass in against the Vikings where he stepped up, got drilled, and ended up being a duck for to seal it. But I mean, have we seen him in a clean pocket step up and launch it?
No.
I don't know. But if they're going, I don't think
Getsy let him throw more than 16 yards. I mean,
right. But if they're going to go ahead and do that, like they're already telling us something about,
Yeah, it was just odd,
So for me, regardless of it was dumb in my opinion, but if they're going to do that, then I think they're revealing a little bit too much about their young quarterback and how far he could throw. I mean, it could be total bullshit, but why else would you do that? You know what I'm saying? Why else? I don't know.
He did really well. He did really well in terms of the operation. Getting the play call in and out. Sometimes, because of the situation, it could be the gain that you just had or whatever. The shot clocks for the play caller is going down. It's at 23 and it stops at 15, and he's got to be able to rip the call in there. And if it's a longer call, then he's got to get the call out, and then you got to get to the line of scrimmage, before you get a delay. And I thought he did a nice job of that. Getting the playoff, in a timely fashion all day, and he did a nice job.
What your identity was.
Stupid.
You said you wanted it to be a team that scored a lot of points. Well, 30 points is a pretty good number to score. You ran the ball 38 times for about $1.75, give or take. Is that going to be your identity moving forward, running the ball? And if so, will it be the identity moving forward for the rest of the year, even if and when Justin comes back? Yeah, I think there's multiple ways to win, but we believe in running the ball.
Cap, just let's call the fucking timeout right there. Let's call a timeout right there. Yes, there are multiple ways to win, coach, but your team wins like that. That's your team's identity. I don't understand how that's hard for this coach to comprehend. You ran the ball heavy. You utilize, your tight end, you utilize the short game, the short passing game. You played good defense. You played complementary football. That's your identity. Like, I don't know why you would say something like there's many like who you trying to fool? You know what I mean? Just be straight up like, hey, man, you know what? That's something that we have been working on. That's something that we've, like doing this is what we feel like we are successful at, and we're going to continue to do it until, somebody stops. Like,
until the wheels fall off, man.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, you finally find success, and you're going to say, no, this is not really what we want. This isn't what you want? 30 rushes and how the running backs were running, how the offensive line was moving bodies. And I don't care if it was the fucking Raiders or not. You're moving NFL players. You're moving 300-pound men out of the fucking way, running downhill and just dominating. That should be your identity, coach.
Yeah.
Why would there be any other identity you would want? I don't know. If your team could do that, that's your fucking identity. Wake up. Sorry.
They did it last year. No, you're fucking great, man. You did it. They did it last year. They ran the hell out of the ball with efficiency. Granted, they had the worst record in the league, but with all that being said, they could still run the ball. Their defense was shit, but they could run the fucking ball with a bad offensive line. They could run the ball. This year, we started the season looking. I mean, that just speaks to the coaching.
Go ahead.
It just speaks to the fucking shitty coaching and how they have just fumbled this from the beginning of the season. It makes zero sense to me. They haven't done. I kick it over to you. It makes no sense. This guy, the way it's paused with his eyes closed on our screen right now, it's how he fucking coaches with his eyes closed. It's fucking annoying. He's a great defensive coordinator is what he's showing. But when it comes to head coaching, this motherfucker it's ridiculous.
It's just, how can you look at your team and say, you know what, this isn't who we are after what you just did? You know what I mean? Like, why sign Deonta Foreman and then sit him? We still haven't gotten the answer of why he was a healthy scratch for 4 weeks. Why bring in another running back? Why go ahead and draft a Roschon Johnson? You know what I mean? Why bring in this stable of running backs and then not use them at all? And I understand that you're trying to get going with Justin being an athlete, but that's got to go to him. That's, like I said, we've already hit on that. Let's continue on. Like I said, the identity is running the football, defense, and working off play action when you can. It shouldn't be a hard concept, coach.
We really do, because of where we live, where we play football here in Chicago, and I think that's an important part of it. And stopping the run is also very, very important to us. So that's always going to be something that we want to do. Now, you don't have to do it every game, but it's something that's good for us.
From a game planning standpoint, what went into trying to make sure that Tyson's in the best position to be able to manage the game and not put the entire game on his shoulders per se?
Yeah, just that's a great question, and really that was the whole thing we wanted it to do. We want him to have good rhythm, timing, good protection. Don't let 98 wreck the game. So that was all of our keys to victory were there. And then distribute the ball to the skill. And then when you were able to run the ball the way we were, then they're able to, they have to come up and crowd the line of scrimmage. So it put some good advantageous pass positions for us offensively. So overall, it was really good by the whole group.
Did that factor into the decision in the series right at the end of the first half to not choose to bang the timeouts and say, hey, if it runs out, it runs out?
Yeah, that was right on the cusp, So we're at 50. It was at 53. Typically you can get a playoff within 13 seconds, get up on a line and do that, and we're okay there. But it took more time. The guys got lined up. It took too long.
I mean, before that, right? Before the third down, before you convert the third down play to not go timeout after the first or second.
Yeah, that's above our number.
And he goes on later on. Like you'll hear him later. And it was either on. I hope it wasn't on Waddle and Sylvie, but I believe it's in the next clip we're gonna have. If it's in, I believe it's in the next clip. He completely contradicts himself.
Surprise!
He goes ahead. He goes ahead and says, "Oh well, we didn't want to give them more time. Like if we failed, we didn't want to give them time coming back," which is completely different than what he's telling you here. So it's like, coach, if you're not going to be able to tell the truth, like you're just like the writing's on the wall. Like it's been on the wall, and we're just waiting you out at this point because you can't even be real with that.
And we haven't. When we talked to you Friday, you said you were going to keep monitoring Justin, double back on Monday. Physically, how is he 2 days later? And what's the challenge for you going forward in terms of managing that as a head coach, where you have a quarterback who filled in and did not look too far out of his comfort zone?
Yeah, so with Justin, we'll see where he is tomorrow. He's going to visit with the doctors. I know his spirits are great. I know he's done a great job during the course of the week, and he did an awesome job today working with Tyson. On the sideline and talking to him before the game, going through the first 15. all the way through. So, but in terms of his, health, where he is, all that, we'll know more tomorrow.
Tyree Stevenson had several big snaps against Devontae Adams and several big moments. How would you evaluate how he did going against Adams?
He did well. Tyreek is a young corner, so he's going to continue to grow. This matchup was obviously a big matchup. He wasn't matched on the whole time, but he was some. And again, he'll learn from that. He's going to play against a lot of really good receivers this year. And the important part of a rookie is just to keep learning. Take that, put it in your file, and learn. For the next time you play that particular player, because it's all about the one-on-ones and all about the matchups out there. So, and you got to be able to have a short-term memory out there. So that's important. That's what was so great about Jalen. Jalen ended up getting the DPI at the on that goal ball. Versus
he talks
11,
about the
and
defense.
He just, went on to the next play. Just move forward to the next play. He knows fundamentally what he can do better, and end up getting those couple picks.
He's got a future as a defensive coordinator.
So far off of what you had planned.
Won't be here
the season. When you have backups in there, you have guys out of position. Why did it work today?
Lucas was at center. That we like that. He was back there healthy. We like that, and then
We like that.
putting Tevin back over to where he played last year. I think that's very comfortable for him. And then having Cody back at his spot, at left spot. So you got a lot of experience, in the middle part of your offensive line there. I mean, just look at the total reps of being at right guard, center, and then left guard. There's some, familiarity there for those guys and comfort level. So
I think they should just go ahead. And I know Nate is hurt right now.
Yeah, high ankle sprain
But
for a dude
I don't
weighing over
think-
300 pounds is never good.
Yeah, I don't think they should. Or when he does come back, whenever that
Yep.
is, Cody Whitehair should not be on that line.
You're not wrong, man.
Cody Whitehair, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Finish
It
out
was
the
real.
year and be ready to back us up. Be ready, if somebody gets hurt, but he shouldn't be the starter anymore. I've seen enough, and that's all I have to say on the matter.
that's what I think most of it was. But again, the coaches did a heck of a job, and those players did a really good job. It's not easy to move around. And again, you guys know we moved around a lot. So you guys did a good job.
Time around Foreman, what's left an impression on you about who he is as a guy and then obviously as a player?
Yeah, I mean, I would really, for him, his ability to stay positive, because, when he was down, and then we activated him up, he was the same guy all the time. And that was pretty cool. He was doing show team stuff, and, this guy was a heck of a back. And, we just, at the time, we're heavy at back, at the halfback position. So, and again, he took it in stride, and he knew his opportunity was going to come. Last week, he wanted to perform better, and today he did. So I think he's got to start stacking performances and keeping that positive can-do attitude like he did.
The DPI on 2nd and 25. What was the explanation you got? And you seemed pretty hot about it for the next couple of minutes. What were you trying to tell the officials?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you agree and you disagree, right? And we rarely agree to disagree, but I think that it's that situation. They called what they called, and when you get them in 2nd and 25, we had just pressured on the play before because everybody thinks you're going to play coverage there, and so we got them in a good situation, and then you end up giving them a new set of downs. That's why my lid came off a little bit.
Just what is healthy? Is there any question who your starting quarterback is?
Yeah, Justin's our starting quarterback. I mean, Tyson's the backup, came in, did a nice job, and then we don't know where Justin is. We'll see where it is. We don't know if this is it's a week-to-week thing, and we'll assess it more tomorrow.
There were certain elements of the
Like I said, give him. I think Bagent gets 2 weeks. We're talking about a dislocated thumb on your throwing hand.
Doesn't need surgery.
I think he has. He obviously had this past week against the Raiders. I think he has 2 more weeks. So in 3 weeks, if Tyson Bagent goes 3-0, then we can start talking about there's a controversy on our hands. But if he comes back down to earth in both of those games a little bit, then obviously where we need to go.
offense today where it felt like you were able to unlock it, maybe not that way the first 6 weeks. Why do you think that is? When it's screen games, for downs today, he passed the ball to 7 different receivers. Why did that happen today versus the first 6 weeks?
Yeah, I just think it was all guys working together. the operation was nice. They did a nice job and distributed the ball to the skill, let the skill run and let him move. And I thought we did a good job of that today.
How do you evaluate how Tyson did specifically with timing throws and anticipation throws?
Good. Yeah, I thought he did a nice job. Those speed outs, the one that he hit to, DJ at the end and that big third down, that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. And really the ability to evade and then also throw the ball, I thought he did a nice job, nice accurate passes there too.
What happened to Brisker on the 220?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I know he got hit, and I don't know where it is. I don't have the answer for you right now. But it's a legal pick because you are allowed that. It was within 1 yard, so you're allowed to come down and pick and do the rub. So again, we don't have a couple ways to handle that defensively, and that's what it was.
Defense stepped up pretty big today, Coach, and they had 39. They stopped. They held them to 39 yards rushing. Talk to me about what's going on there. The last couple of games, they've been really improving on a regular basis. It's just to finally get to know each other. But what's the difference? It looks like a different defense now than it did at the beginning of the year.
Well, we had some guys injured in the beginning of the year, and we had some secondary issues going forward, and now we got guys back. So I think it's just continuity. They got Meade calling it, and their continuity there. I think that's important.
Thanks,
I think to that point though, I think that's important because with him calling the defense, with him operating that unit, they've gotten better.
Absolutely.
Ever since Alan Williams' departure, they've gotten better. So him being 100% involved in the defense seems to be the elixir that it needed. They just need more focus from the guy who, pretty much is the operator. You know what I'm saying? The guy that
should be the defensive coordinator.
Right.
And then we're aggressive. Not only aggressive with the calls, we're aggressive with the techniques. You want to play that aggressive style. So but the guys it takes all of us, right? It takes all of us, and it's important that we play together, and play with good fundamentals and good technique, and that's the players. And they're doing a really good job of improving every single week in the technique and fundamentals.
Was Brisker's injury concussion related, or was it a bodily injury?
It is. I don't know yet. I don't know. I know he was hit right here. I don't know where it is right now. Andre has not given me any updates yet, so I'll know more tomorrow.
Crazy hand gestures and shit. You saw that. I mean, that was wild, Coach. You didn't have to go all into it, but after that victory, like I'd mentioned, thinking about how Tyson Bagent will be used moving forward, I just I can't help but think if he finds some success, like let's say this turned Luke Getsy on to, hey, maybe I could open up some more of the playbook, and it reverts back to like we saw, against KC, against Tampa Bay, against Green Bay, prior to the Denver game with the offense, right? It goes back to that shit like we saw in Minnesota. I mean, where do you go from there now? You know what I'm saying? Because it would be obviously a coordinator's problem instead of a quarterback issue. You know what I mean? Like, do you trust Luke Getsy enough to go ahead and say, hey, we're going to go and run the ball. We're going to take what the defense gives us, and we're going to trust that our defense is going to, put us in positions to succeed. I'm still not sure he can do that. Like, he surprised me this week by running the ball 30 times. I didn't think I was going to fucking see that, but I'm serious. But has he turned a corner with the understanding of how this offense should operate, how it gets going? Do you have an opinion on that, Jacko? I mean, I was tossing it to you.
I apologize. I was trying to pull up something pertinent to what you were talking about.
My bad.
No,
you're doing your job. My bad.
I was trying, and I got sidetracked, and you caught me with my mouth open on that one there, Ivan. I apologize.
Anyway, let's move on. Here's Tyson Bagent after the game.
How's everybody?
Tyson, you had a lot of family and friends in the stands today. How are you dealing with the pressure or even just the emotion of having your first career start?
I feel like I dealt with it good. I felt like I had the team, my family, kind of really rallied behind me, gave me a lot of support this week, which I think gave me all the confidence in the world to go, do what we did today.
Were you nervous today?
Yeah.
Was there a point at which you weren't anymore? Were you kind of?
Yeah, I feel like I settled in after the first snap. Really, I feel like I feel really nervous the whole week until we get on the field for pregame, and then it usually goes away. But just like any week, there was some nerves.
Tyson, I asked you last week. I said, if you're moving forward, if you're a QB1, how confident were you leading this team to victory? You looked me dead in the face and said, "I'm very confident." Where did that come from, and what did you do today to build on to do that?
The fuck?
I feel like I've played like a million games at quarterback. I feel like I was able to win the job in high school my sophomore year, and then I started every game through my senior year of college. So that's 7 years of starting, understanding what the week of preparation looks like, and going through pretty much every concept and run concept that there is. So repetition, mother of all learners, and I've been blessed to have a lot of repetitions in my life. So.
How much did the physical running game help you?
Yeah, it's just like any game. If the big boys on offense and defense, I thought, played extremely well today. Anytime that you're able to do that, it makes things easier for everybody. So I thought they did an outstanding job today.
He gets it. I mean, he understands. Anyway, let's move forward. Like I said, I like him more and more every time.
Yes.
I hear him at the podium.
He's good on the
I
stick,
see him
man.
play.
He's good on the mic.
I like him more and more.
Yep.
On the touchdown pass to Deontay, can you just walk us through that play? And obviously, it's nothing fancy, but what you saw and how that play unfolded for you.
Yeah, I guess in a sense we're running snag. So check the flat, had Cole on the snag route, had a corner route by Moon, just kind of high-low in the corner. He gave enough depth where really he was kind of in the middle. I could have probably thrown it to either him or Mooney, but it was enough space. And, focal point this week was, get the ball out of your hands. So it was easy, just especially how he was playing today, get it to him, let him break a tackle, which he did, and that was kind of the extent of it.
How do you describe what Deontay meant today to the entirety of the day?
Yeah, I thought Deontay played out of his mind today. I thought he played extremely well, kind of little glimpse of some things that he was able to do last year. I know he's itching to get out there and, have a good game just because, like he told us in the locker room, a lot of watching for him this season so far. So it was only a matter of time for he was able to break out and have a good day like today.
You talk about getting the ball out of your hands quickly. Several times you avoided negative plays getting the ball. I think one of the best decisions was you dirted the screen pass when it wasn't open. How much of a focus do you put on that in terms of avoiding the negative plays just to keep moving on to the next play?
Yeah, I feel like that's a staple of how I've always tried to play quarterback, just getting the ball out of your hands, and then just try to combine that with just making really good decisions. I think I got away with in college a lot of times getting the ball out of your hands, but also forcing some things just because I was, had that freedom to do so. I think at this level, we're valuing the ball, trying to be +2 in that section like Coach Blues preaches to us every week. So I just kind of had that in the back of my head all week, like, hey, if it's not there, play the next play. End every drive with a kick, which we were able to do today.
That's how you have to play. I feel like if you're a young quarterback, even if it's to your demise, like you got to play free like that and move on to the next play. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't sit and dwell on it. It'll only be to your detriment. And 100%, the kid's pretty sharp, man. Very experienced. A very experienced quarterback, has a lot more reps. We mentioned a lot more reps than Justin Fields in college, be it D2. It's still repetitions at the quarterback position and in the system that you're running now. So it's very important.
What did it mean to you to have all of these parts of the game that you don't control go your way? The offensive line holds up, the defense plays really well, Foreman plays well.
Yeah, I think it means a lot to a lot of people. I think we've been looking for a win here at Soldier Field for a while. So it means, it basically means the world to everyone else when you're able to play well in the trenches, when you're able to control the line of scrimmage, run the ball well, and, stop the other team's run game. I thought it was an outstanding team effort today.
Your first drive in the third quarter, you guys take a lot of time off the clock, march down and score. What did that do for the sideline? This is a team that hadn't been great at protecting leads, and all of a sudden you build on it and you take a lot of time off.
Yeah, I think it's hard to start fast in the second half when you have such a controlling first half. So I think that was just another one of the focal points. Don't let this be a comeback story at the end of the day. I thought Coach Getsy at halftime, on the whiteboard, able to dial up some outstanding plays that we were looking forward to running in the second half, and I thought we were able to execute a lot of those. I thought the screen was perfect. I thought, still running the ball effectively, getting the ball out of our hands, and taking our shots downfield when we can. So I thought, he dialed up some amazing stuff today.
Didn't really take as many shots downfield. I mean, we'll be real about it.
Yeah,
he was consistent. Put the ball on the money. They didn't really take shots downfield, but.
One or two plays from that drive that he scripted down.
Yeah, that screen is one of them. The screen is definitely one of them that stands out, and I think that we couldn't have executed that any better. So able to come that, it's been on the call sheet for a couple weeks. So for him to have the confidence in, me, the O-line, everybody to execute, kind of a high-risk play when you're throwing the ball back across the field. I thought it was great.
Patrick was celebrating after that screen.
Yeah, he was
scratching the mic.
Have the guys had the shot to Hail Mary, it would have been about a 60-yard heave to the end zone. They chose to go with Nate. You think you can get it to the end zone from there about 60?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got a cannon. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. I think that there was, we're playing in the Windy City. I had one this week that came off my hand a little funny, but, never want to get it twisted. Nate's got a very powerful arm as well. But I like to think that I've got an extremely strong arm, and the ball most definitely would have got there. But it would so with Nate too, so I had obviously no problem there.
This is where I'm confused. If your coaches believe that you have if that's the truth, right? That's the truth. He's been 100 for me. He's been 100 up until this point. If that's the truth, then why the fuck was Nate Peterman in the game?
Yeah, I don't.
If your coaches knew that that's the truth, why was Nate Peterman in the game? I could be absolutely wrong. He could have a cannon, and he has an accurate arm as is. But as far as strength, if your coaches know you have it, you would have been in the game, bro. The only time he slipped up for me.
The quarterback sneak, and I think it was the first quarter. What was the strategy on that instead of going straight over the middle, like you were trying to avoid Crosby?
Yeah, I think not necessarily Crosby, although I think our whole game plan was kind of centered around where he was on the field. It was just one of those things where we ran a lot of Q sneaks this year. So being able to sneak it in the B gap, just because they want to take the A gaps away, be able to take a slide step to the right or left, depending on which one looks better, was kind of something we talked about really before the game. Just be ready to execute the Q sneak in the B gap, other than A gap.
How anxious does this make you want to get back out there?
I hope that's not the fucking case.
Yeah, I think
I hope that's not the case.
So, we get a little bit of a break early this week to enjoy this, but just really making it a focal point to the staff and the players. Let's get back on the horse. Let's get ready. We're playing another good team coming up this week. So, 17 weeks in this regular season, so not really a whole lot of time to sit back and enjoy this, and ready to, obviously, when you win, everybody's a little bit more excited to get back out there.
And at your first NFL start as a rookie, I mean, that's like a dream realized. Are you able to process that yet, or is it still a little too fresh from just playing?
Yeah. I mean, I've got where I come from, I got a bunch of friends, a bunch of family that understood how big this was, just in life. Not a lot of people get to say they started an NFL game, let alone.
Someone start playing Lose Yourself, bro. From Eminem. So is this B Rabbit here? I'm just joking. I don't know. He's got the swagger, man. He's got some swagger to him.
Win an NFL game, so definitely had a lot of those conversations today. I think the staff understood it too, and the players. That's why everybody rallied behind me, as well as they did. So I was able to take it in with a handful of different conversations I had throughout the week, and yeah.
How was Justin in his role supporting you today?
I couldn't really ask much more from him, the QB room, as a whole. I think Justin and Nate, when I talk about people that rally back behind me and have my back and help me throughout the week with just different things to look at, just with the amount of experience that they have, Justin and Nate were pivotal in how we were able to execute today and the way I played today on the field.
You talked Wednesday about beating the odds to get this opportunity. What do you think? You played with, you have that bravado that everyone talks about, the confidence that you have in the locker room. How do you think that benefited you today? That confidence you play with.
I think that football gives me the ability to let loose. I don't know how loud I would be in my life if I didn't have football, just in general. It kind of gives me that alleyway to scream and shout, and it helps me out, and I hope it definitely infiltrates the minds of the people I have around me and kind of gives them that same feeling, whatever it is, that they can also be that part on the team. And whenever you could be excited and just be happy that you're able to play football, and everybody plays like it, you get kind of what happened today.
How big of a crowd did you have here for yourself personally, family and friends? How many people came down today?
A lot. Yeah, my paycheck probably won't look the same this week. So I had a lot of people there.
What do you do tonight now? Obviously, with a lot of people in town and an ability to celebrate.
Yeah, I've never really been away from home my whole life. So I don't, this is new for me, not being able to see my friends and family like I usually am able to. So I'm going to relax and just, enjoy the time that I'm able to spend with them tonight.
Where's your confidence level now? Going into your second week as a starter, where's your confidence level now?
The same. I don't think, you can't, shouldn't allow for your confidence to, rise or drop, win or lose. You just kind of, play the next play, as a lot of people like to say. And that's what I look forward to doing this next coming week. It was amazing. I mean, Soldier Field is off the chain today. You couldn't ask for a better weather day. I thought the crowd got involved right when they needed to, and I thought that helped our defense, continue to be as dominant as they have been the last couple of weeks, and kind of gave the offense, a confidence boost with the, chunk plays and the excitement that was, all around Soldier Field today.
You've done a good job of avoiding the hype that was around you during the preseason. It's only going to grow louder now. How do you anticipate dealing with it this week?
Say it again.
You said that you were aware of the hype around you during the preseason, but you did a good job of avoiding it. It's only going to get louder now, so how do you anticipate handling it throughout the rest of the year?
How big was the hype? I mean, I knew I wanted him on the team, but I mean, how big was the hype really that it would have distracted him? I mean, I don't think it was that much.
Season against third and fourth stringers, so there was some high praise and
no, right. I get that. I get that, but it's like,
was there really a drum being pounded for Bagent?
No, I mean,
it
was a shock that he beat out PJ Walker. We all thought they were going to go the other way. So,
but hey,
either way,
it doesn't lie when you see it. I mean, he performed when he got his reps and showed out.
There's hype now, so
yeah. I think no matter how big, no matter how big it is, I feel like I'm a pretty grounded person. I don't like a whole lot of fancy stuff. I don't like, I like to keep it simple. So,
no shit.
It's real easy to turn the phone off. So that's about all. It's about all it takes. Yeah.
Did you get the game ball today? Is that your
yeah. There was 3, and coach was nice enough to give me one, so I appreciated that.
What was his message? Just
earned.
Saying that to you after the game.
Just that it was, my first career start. Pretty big deal for any quarterback that gets his first career start. And just once again, just everybody having my back and rallying behind me and making me feel good. So I always appreciate that. Thank you.
Like I said, you can't help but like the kid. You can't help but like the kid. Yeah. And I'm gonna root for him. I mean, like it's not like I was
100% Ivan.
Not rooting for him. You know what I'm saying? Like I had my doubts, but after this past week's performance, it got you. Nothing should stop you from rooting. Even your fandom for Justin Fields,
your affinity,
your allegiance to Fields. I get it, but it's not his fault. Fields got hurt, right?
Yeah.
Fields has had his mistakes. And it's just an opportunity for the kid. It's not to say that, oh, that's it. Here we go. Justin's fucking gone. Because I don't think that's going to happen. Falus has already admitted such.
Yeah.
And I think it would be.
Didn't even hesitate.
I think it would be dumb to not see this thing out with Justin Fields this year. I don't think it would be smart of them. Even with a guy that is intriguing, he still can be, controlled for a lot longer and a lot less money than Justin Fields. So I'm just going to say that. Let's move on. This is Eberflus from yesterday.
Okay. Good afternoon. So the injury update for Justin, really no change. He's doubtful for this week. working with trainers, continues to progress. He's just not there yet. Bagent will be our starter.
Fucking Bob.
Until that time he is cleared. So we're squared away on that. And again, excited for Tyson's opportunity again this week for him to start in the game. Davis will not be available this week. He's also week to week will not be available. Roshan Johnson is coming back, and it looks good. He's got another hurdle that he has to clear, but it looks real positive, and that looks good for Wednesday, but we'll see where it is at that time. Brisker went into concussion protocol, and he's cleared. So we're all set with him going from the game.
Roshan.
And then we'll have a full injury report after Wednesday's practice. Just to talk about the game a little bit offensively, and really as a football team, really nice complimentary football,
Yes.
Scoring points,
Yes.
obviously the defensive touchdown. When you get one of those, it gives you 80% win rate. So we are on the right side of that one this time, so it was good. And, really we were better on third down on both sides of the ball. I thought the O-line did a really good job of protecting. We had a plan, for obviously they're really good, for their good pass rusher. And I thought we executed that plan. Credit to the tight
Thanks,
ends,
Lucas.
the offensive line, being able to, do a solid job on that good pass rusher for sure. And the coaches as well. Foreman, I thought really did a nice job. I thought Coach Walker did a really good job preparing him and the running backs all week. In their protections and in the run game. I thought he did a nice job of that. Coach Walker did. And obviously, Tyson did a good job of operating the offense. And, my hats off to Getsy and also
Don't you
to
wish
Genoa.
that on
Those
us,
guys did a really
Ricky
good job
Bobby.
there.
I was gonna
Don't you
say.
put that
Those
evil
guys.
on us.
And really Justin, Justin.
come up with the
as I
niceties
said
and then drop
yesterday,
that.
did a wonderful job of helping him during the course of the week, in the game, halftime, and just the whole week. And he did a really good job with that. Defensively, really proud of the guys the last 3 weeks. We held offensive touchdowns, held them 4 touchdowns over the last 3 weeks. We've done a good job on third down the last 3 weeks, so we got to continue to do that. And the rushing yards have been down the last 3 or 4 weeks too, so we got to do a really good job of that. Coming up, it's always a formula for good winning football. And sacks are starting to come up a little bit, pressures are coming up a little bit, and those we always want more there, of course. But we got to do a good job with that going forward. With that, open up the questions.
Yeah, the offensive drive in the third quarter. When you went back and reviewed the entirety of that, 15 plays over 8 minutes, you ended up at the end. What struck you about the entirety of that drive?
I would just say the efficiency.
We did it.
Right. When you do get on first down, that's always a big part of it. They have a stat, and I guess a lot of stats thrown at me a bunch of times, but the first down of the series, if that's a positive 4+ play, your ability to score there is goes up dramatically, and having positive plays on your first downs within, are so huge, and not getting behind, and that to me is what really stuck out to me, and that's what efficiency is, right? You don't get a holding penalty that puts you back. You don't get
Coach.
certain situations, false starts, which we had some of those, yesterday, and we had too many of those, so we got to clean those up.
It's never an easy
Got to clean
answer.
up the holding penalties that we had, and again, you don't agree with all those, but that's what it is. But again, just efficiency.
I mean, you could have just let off with that
This
efficiency.
media prep sucks, man.
Yeah, it's just the worst, by far the
The play
worst.
on that drive was the throwback screen from Tyson to Deontay. What struck you about that entire sequence? Tyson kind of referred to
Really good play call by Getsy, I thought. Good rhythm and timing of that in terms of when he called it. And it was good timing by the offensive line. The offensive line really sold the fake, and and we hadn't run that play yet this year, so it wasn't on tape yet. And just really good timing by Foreman too. It was really good.
And yesterday, Jalen Johnson, after the game, talked about how he would like to get paid. He would like to be here with the Bears. One of the things that he said though is, I feel like I'm one of those guys who could get paid at a high level. And I know that this is Ryan Poles' area to negotiate and all that, but as a defensive coordinator throughout your life and knowing defense, is he one of those guys who should get paid a lot as a cornerback?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to talk about money, with contracts, but I've always enjoyed seeing those guys, get what they're due. All the guys that I've coached and had, produce, and a lot of guys at a high level. It's good to see that when that happens, and I'm always happy for them and their families. But that's all I really got to say about it. Again, I'm not going to get into the negotiations of all those things. That's between him and Ryan, and we'll see where it goes.
I mean, he's right about that. But like we said earlier, Jackal, he hasn't done enough to think that you were. And I get you have to promote yourself. You got to market yourself. As a player, that's a little bit part of it, but. You haven't. From the stats, from what we see on the field, like the tape, there's just not enough to be demanding a top 10, top 5 cornerback pay. It's you're shooting for the moon here, and it's just going to be missed. Like, I don't think the Bears are going to entertain that whatsoever. You got to start thinking realistically, in my opinion, and look, have all the confidence in yourself you want. Just let's be real about this.
Yeah. I mean, he missed 6 games last year. He missed 1 game in 2021. He missed 1 game, and he missed 3 games in his rookie season. So he's missed a total of 8 games.
Yeah, I mean, it's
half a season in 3 years.
Well, it's half a season
Almost
in 3 years,
half a
and not as much production. You want turnovers. Like, you need turnovers. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just not generating enough for me to say, hey, yeah, you're a big time corner. Let's go ahead and pay you big time money.
Yeah. Agreed.
Going back to Jalen for a second, though, when you were hired, you talked a lot about trying to find out if Jalen was the right type of corner for your system. How has he shown you that he is over the last year and a half?
Yeah, he's done everything we've asked. He's been, really good in training camp. He's worked every single day during that process. He's worked his craft. He's done a really good job of improving his craft. He's always been really good in terms of being sticky, at the top of routes, and being able to close distances and make plays on the ball. Now he's starting to make those interceptions, which is positive, right? Obviously getting takeaways is a big thing. So, and the tackling's better, and that's, there's no house guests on our defense, so everybody tackles, and it will be a good tackling team when our corners tackle. And he's done a good job with that.
What are some of the things? What did you like about the clock in Bagent's head? He took 1 sack. A couple of times he got out of there on that third quarter drive.
Mm-hmm.
Crosby's coming around the end. He goes up the left hash. It seemed like he knew when to get rid of it, knew when to put his head down and run, and that it wasn't too big for him.
Yeah, it must be those 7,000 passes he's thrown in his life. But yeah, I think that he's got a good knack for that. He really does. He understands the play design. He understands where it's supposed to go, and he gets rid of it in a timely fashion. And even when it was off schedule, in terms of the pressure, he was able, because he's athletic enough to be able to evade. And he had that nice scramble on the first touchdown. So he's able to do those things, and that's his skill set. And he did a nice job with it.
I'm curious whether the timer in his head would be different against the Vegas Raiders than it was against Colorado School of Mines. You know what I mean? It's just
They got smoked that game too. He got beat that game
during preseason. I didn't see that. I saw positive.
41-13.
I thought it was right on time, and I think he was poised the entire game.
And I've had a lot of people ask why Nathan Peterman was in under center at the end of the game as opposed to Tyson Bagent.
Yeah, it's something that we do on offense. You put a guy in there to get a rep. With that at the end, it's just nothing.
Yeah, that is, Coach.
That's
what you do.
A winning, efficient game plan for Bagent, but it was a very conservative one. How much room is there for him to kind of open things up against the Chargers? And do you think eventually you'll have to if he's still your quarterback, or just do what you did and still win?
Yeah, what we liked most about it was, I think it was 9 different targets that he had with our football team and putting it to the skill. So we want to definitely continue to do that, and that was really positive. Again, you can win really a lot of different ways, and every week's different, and we'll find a way, to
see that's
through the next couple of days.
Fucking 2 and 5, dude.
Again, every week's different. I get you have to adjust for certain defenses, right? But if you're trying to build an identity, when I say identity, something that you're best at. What is your best trait, right? What is the Bears' best trait right now and last season? Running the football. Correct? So why can't that be the the foundation for what you do going into each and every game. Make sure that we stick to the run, which protects our quarterback, a little bit, opens up play action for our very athletic quarterback, and we could go off of that. See, these are the things that kill me. It's like, yeah, you could win very, very many different ways, but if you're finding success in a certain way, do not fucking change it like you did, against Minnesota. It felt like we were running totally different.
Hey, gave them too much time to prepare, and they fucking
too much empties. Not enough heavy personnel. Not enough 12. You know what I'm saying? Bring in the big guys and let's go. Like let that be the identity. I hate this. You can win a very amount of ways, right? Let's be real about it. Find that identity, and that's how you win.
This week, we'll keep working at it.
But does his game allow you to open things up a little bit and throw downfield?
Oh yeah,
aggressive and
no question. No question. Yeah, he's a rhythm and a timing passer, and he's got all the abilities to do all those things.
So was that opponent specific, or is that just because his first start, you didn't want to throw too much at him? What's the process, I guess, to get to that point?
Yeah, I think it's both. Obviously the first time coming out, you want to be very successful, and I think it matters with the opponents you're playing, the rushers you're playing, the coverages they're playing, what their style is. What their offense looks like. I think it's all encompassing.
Given the evolution of your wide receivers room, Tyler has stepped into height and role the last few weeks. What has been your impression of just kind of the way he's responded to increased opportunity?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. I think in terms of his functional intelligence, being able to get on the field and operate, that's number one. Obviously, the speed. You love the speed. The ability to really stress the defense vertically, which is really cool. And then his ability, like that one play made over the middle, was a real
Anybody
nice
remembers
play
that movie?
too.
Oh yeah, 1993.
And really, his blocking is starting to improve because we ask all of our guys. It's like the same opposite, right? We'll be a good blocking team when our receivers block. And they do a nice job on the backside. In the crack game. So he's doing all that.
You examined, or not you, when the team examined Justin today, was it the swelling had not gone down? Was it the grip strength was not where you need it to be? What didn't happen?
I hit it with a hammer.
I'm just going to go back to what I said. He's with the trainers. He's doubtful this week, and that's where it is. So
are you still of the belief that you guys are on the path to avoiding surgery and IR and all
we do think we're on the right path. Yes, we do. Yep.
With your run defense, the way they've played the past few weeks, what are some of the things that's allowed it to be so successful?
Well, run defense is a group effort. It takes all 11 to have a good run defense, and we've had some good ones. And again, we're in the middle of the process of this season, so we got to keep doing what we're doing and do it better. And it's everybody. It starts in the middle, with your defensive tackles, and it starts with your linebackers, having the ability to get downhill, and to create little space for the runners to run. Then you work to the outside. The defensive end's got to do a great job of setting edges. So when you really create that inside cup and squeeze the run game off like that, I think it's really good. Then it goes out to the perimeter.
What up, Brian?
Eventually you're going to make your corners tackle with the crack replace game, and
Hello. Hello. Ivan, I think you froze, buddy. Oh no.
But yeah, it's everybody.
And has Justin tried to throw at all? Has he gotten to the point where he can even attempt to throw with that hand?
He's working with the trainers. That's where I'm going. He's just working with the trainers, and that's where he is right now.
With Braxton, is that injury more serious than maybe we thought at first? Is he out longer term?
We'll see
where it is. We'll have an update for you on Wednesday, but I know his window, could potentially open up at that time.
All right. Well, there's that.
There's that.
I'm serious. I'm serious. Like, because there's a lot of BS that he gives you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and sometimes he doesn't give you anything at all. So it's, for me, that's part of why I do this, is because, like, let's sit here, let's listen to him again. Right, I know we listened to him on BHL. Make sure you guys check out BHL after every Bears game with Phil and Shane, but we listened to them there live. Let's go back and slow things down because sometimes emotions, you know what I'm saying? We're all flying. We're all trying to type and give our opinions. Sometimes we don't hear certain things. Like I didn't hear his whole, you could win in different ways type of BS that kind of irked me when you found a way to win in what you've been doing. You know what I'm saying? So it really needs to be dissected with these coaches sometimes because you'll miss something and you'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy's been feeding me this bullshit, this entire time. So
we're kind of used to it though. That's the problem.
That's true. I mean, it's been a few coaches now where we're getting good practice in the art of smelling out bullshit. Okay. So it's been a long time building up.
DDP has been hit on the head recently, very early on with that too. He was right on Nagy well ahead of time. He's hit the nail on the head with Flus last year. It's just, oh man.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. It's frustrating to continue to lose. But I mean, we're coming off a win, but we haven't been winning. You know what I'm saying? We're 2-5, and we should be 3-5. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like there were still 2 other winnable games on the schedule. But if we could continue to, like I said, run the football and play good defense, the defense is I feel like the key. You have 3 turnovers in 3 games, 3 or 4 interceptions in 4 games or 3 games, something to that effect. The interceptions, the turnovers are starting to generate.
Flus has got the boys clicking, man. And it's evident. The guy's clearly a defensive whiz. I mean, I shouldn't say clearly a defensive whiz, but he's clearly showing that he can take this group and get the most out of them and get them to perform and continue to learn and grow and just gel as a unit. And they're young. That's a young defense. So there's promise there. That's the one thing I will say with Flus. It just sucks that he's the head coach and not the DC because that's not the conversation we should be having.
Right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into this week. Secret Bagent Man will be starting again against the Los Angeles Chargers of Anaheim via. No, I'm just joking. I don't know where they're at now. The Los Angeles Chargers. They're a team they're very confused. Like they have talent. Their coach is on his way out. Like I think there's a definite fracture in that locker room. There's a lot of rumors going about with Staley. They're a team that's primed to get beat. But like I said, if you become undisciplined, you turning over the football, penalties, you revert back to old tendencies, Luke Getsy, this could be another setback, right? This could be a game where you've built some momentum. Now let's take another step and get 2 games. Let's get 2 games in a row. Let's start that so we could work on this winning streak if we could ever get there. But right now I feel like the Chargers are a very beatable team if you play smart football. So, I'm going to go with the Bears this week. I feel like the Bears, with Tyson Bagent, if they can continue to play defense and run the football and Tyson can protect the football, I can see the Bears upsetting and escaping with a win. I think it's going to be a close one. If anything, let's see. I'm trying to dig out a score for you that I could realistic. I'll give you 20-17 Bears.
2017 Chicago. Okay.
Yeah, 20-17 Bears.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. They're on the road. It's a huge test for Bagent. I think you got a much better. I don't say a much better defense, but I just think you got. They just traded that one cat, the J.C. Jackson, back to New England. So their secondary, they like the one guy there that they have. But I just I don't like this matchup. I'm worried about Bagent, the hype, and everybody just. I'm going to say 24-14 Chargers.
Okay. All right. Like I said, the Chargers, if they play well, they have the talent to beat the Bears. But if the Bears can, stay focused and maybe they get help from a team that doesn't seem to be together, hey, I definitely see the Bears win.
Yeah.
To me, your pick isn't, ridiculous. Like I said, the Bears aren't a great team, but I think that the Chargers are a team that's on the down slope rather than trending upward. So we'll see.
No, you're not wrong. Yeah, I mean their record indicates that, and the Chargers are definitely trending in the wrong direction. Just the Bears are they're in flux, they're in turmoil, and I don't want to say turmoil, just too much going on, too many unanswered questions, and now putting our stock in Bagent is it's wishful thinking. And we do a lot of that as Bears fans now, and it fucking sucks, and we don't deserve that. We need coaching staffs that are going to actually make some more, put us in better positions as fans or as just the team to be more successful, so us fans can actually enjoy it a little more. Hey, woe is me, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
It.
We're bitching about NFL football.
I get it. Real quick before we get out of here, Corn, thank you, Corn, for the donations. Oop, almost knocked that over. What's your favorite horror movie for Halloween?
Fuck, man. Horror movie? I'm going to say Hellraiser fucked me up as a kid, man. I'm an old man. I'm 45 or 46. I don't know how old I am now, but Hellraiser was just a movie that I think of that when I think of horror movies. So, that's I loved all the Saw movies, but that's just me. I don't know. What about you?
So I don't really have a favorite one per se.
Yeah,
I'm not it's not like an enjoyable thing to watch people get murdered. Like I get it. Like I mean, sometimes I get it. Like with scary movies or some scary movies that are, it's like, all right, that's not a lot of murder, like just straight up grotesque killing. But I would say the scariest one, the one that freaked me out the most was Saw and the Saw series. Just because it's like
psychological thriller and the whole
if somebody fucking kidnapped you going into I don't know which one that was, the one where they jump into a pit of needles.
Yep. Oh, dude, that shit was fucked up. Yeah. My wife and I, when we were dating, I remember we went Snowstorm. We binge watched a bunch of them, and it was funny. And I was just like, "This is fucking wild," I wasn't into it, but hey, things you do for love.
Freddy Krueger, Poltergeist out here.
Yep.
So like I said, I'm not a huge horror fan.
We'll get there. Yeah.
But yeah, that's one that freaked me out. That whole series freaks me the fuck out. But anyway, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. It's been a great show. Thank you guys for joining us. We will continue this party on the other side
a couple of minutes.
In a couple of minutes with Keeping It Fantasy right here on the Tape Never Lies Network. So make sure you go ahead and, if you can, check us out.
Like and subscribe.
Check us out. Like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check out another Bear Show every Tuesday night, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern Time. Tomorrow night, check out the guys. They got Darrington Evans.
Yes, sir.
Chicago Bears running back on Keeping It 100. Should be a great show. And also, don't forget to check out Cars Keys on Thursday. And then, of course, Sunday, right after the game, BHL, the big show, talking about what happened, what's going to happen, or what did happen in the Bears game come Sunday. Also, don't forget, if you become a patron, there is a bonus show, a halftime show with Shane and Phil. So you get more TTNL coverage at halftime if you become a patron at www.thetapeneverlies.com. Okay, now with that, we're going to get out of here. For Chris Jacko, I'm Ivan Vargas. Thank you guys for joining us on another Bears show. It's been a great week. Make sure that you go ahead and subscribe. Like I said again, hopefully the Bears get another win this weekend. And as always, man, bear down.